So let's talk about what the Texas legislature looks like. Number one, there are 181 members of the Texas legislature. There are 31 in the Senate and 150 in the Texas House. Senators in Texas serve 4-year terms. Representatives in Texas serve 2-year terms. But our legislature does not meet year-round. They don't even meet every year. They only meet in odd number years. So a representative that is elected for a 2-year term only goes to one actual session before they have to run for re-election. The senators get to serve 2 sessions before they run for re-election. Sessions in Texas are by mandate 140 days, starting in the first Monday in January or the second Monday in January in odd numbered years. So we are, and I am doing this lecture on October 19th, 2020. So we're getting ready for an election. Our election for Texas legislature and for half of the Texas House of Representatives and half of the senators will be November 3rd of 2020. And so then the new session will start, should be the 87th legislative session, will start in January. And it lasts for 140 days. It ends promptly at the end of 140 days. There is a provision in the Texas Constitution for something called a special session. That is a lot. They have a lot of work to get done in 140 days. They very rarely actually get it done. But when the session is over, the session is over unless the governor, and only the governor, can call a special session. Only the governor can call a special session, and the governor gets to tell them what they can discuss during the special session. Usually it is a form of punishment by the governor if they did not address something that he or she thought that they wanted to have addressed in their 140 days. Now, the governor can call unlimited special sessions. I think the most that we've ever had is 4, and that was when Ann Richards was governor. We'll talk in Chapter 8 about why that was. We do not pay our legislators very much money. In fact, they make the $7,200 a year. If we check poverty, the poverty level, I believe that poverty for a household for one person is under $10,900. So we are paying our legislators an amount that is under the poverty level. When they are in session, they also get $90 per day while they're in session, and that's supposed to cover their travel and their housing while they're in session, because they go to Austin. Austin is our state capital, and meet there. So whether or not you actually live in Austin, you get $90 a day while you're there for 140 days and any special session. So obviously this is not their primary source of income. Our legislators have to have other jobs. And so they are not professional politicians. Thus the word citizen legislature. These are lawyers and doctors and businessmen, because those are the people that have the time to spend 140 days away from their business, and can afford to, this $7,200. They're not looking to that as their primary source of income. All of them have staff, and they are provided like a stipend, what's the word that I'm looking for? A budget, an amount for their staff. They pay their staff, and they pay their office expenses out of their budget. Their staff make significantly more than them, but you're not going to get rich working as a state staffer. What are the qualifications for this super exciting job? It seems like we're telling them by the way that we pay that we do not value you, or we don't value your service at the very least. Because in Texas, we pay money for the things that we think are important, and we have no problem doing that. So we're sending a signal, and it was the same signal that they planned to send in 1876 when the Grange set the salary really low for the members of the legislature. They set a limited time for them to actually meet, and said that you cannot vote to raise your own salary. That has to be voted on by the citizens of the state. So it goes out like a constitutional amendment does. Qualifications. You have to be a United States citizen at the time that you are running. You have to be a qualified voter. There's no requirement that you actually be registered to vote, but you have to meet the qualifications for being a voter. If you are running for the Senate, you have to be a minimum of 26 years old. If you're running for the Texas House, minimum age is 21. Are there any 21 or 26-year-olds in the Texas Senate or House? No. 21-year-olds, 26-year-olds are going to need to make significantly more than $7,200 a month, a year, and $7,200 a month would probably work. $7,200 a year, and they are not likely to have jobs or be in a position where they can leave for 140 days. So, there is a residency requirement. It differs a little bit between the two chambers. For the Senate, it is 5 years. You have to live in your home district for at least one. For the Texas House, you have to live in the state, have to have lived in the state for 2 years before you run, and you have to have lived in your home district for 1. So those are the qualifications for running for office. Should this be on your note card? Yeah, that should be on your note card. If we look at tradition, now again, we are in this very, very odd time. Since 2000, 2001 or so, and probably if we're being completely accurate, since the middle of the 90s, Republicans have really dominated both houses. Definitely since the early 2000s. Y'all know that before that, Democrats dominated for years and years and years. It actually costs quite a bit of money to run, and so you have to raise money. And we talked a little bit when in chapter 6 we talked about how political action committees raise money, donate money to candidates. So you have to be plugged in. You have to have the name recognition. You have to be the person that people are willing to donate money to. because you don't want to spend your own money, and because you're certainly not going to make it back. So you raise money and spend that money. Um, Texas is becoming more and more diverse. In fact, Houston, the city of Houston, is, if it is not the most diverse city in the United States, even surpassing New York City, then it is really, really close. I think that it has surpassed New York City. Texas is a very diverse population that is definitely not reflected in the people that get elected to our legislature. There is not a direct correlation between the demographic numbers in our state and the demographic numbers of those that get elected. I said before, but here it is in black and white. 60% of the people that get elected are business owners, business executives, or attorneys. We make a lot of jokes in political science areas, in Texas political science arenas, that our legislature is not very intelligent, but that is actually not accurate. Texas has one of the best educated legislatures in the United States. We are first, or at least have been in the past, first in the percentage of lawyers that are in the legislature. So we don't really know what the income is. Reporting is the requirements for reporting of your income are really sketchy. So, but you're going to have to assume that most of these people are pretty well off to be able to afford to come to Austin and take all that time off. You have to have some kind of income flow going, that if to be allowed to even do that. So we don't know that this is a whole bunch of rich people, but we can assume that they probably are. Remember, I was talking about demographics. This is, I'm sure, based on the 2010 census. So if we are looking, the blue is the percentage in Texas population based on the last census. All of this will be updated soon. Asian Americans are 5% of the population in the state, but 2% of the legislature. African Americans are 13% of the population, and they did round up. So if you add all these numbers, I don't think that it quite computes, because they did round. Latinos in Texas are 39% of the population. And I have seen numbers as high as 42% in the interim between the 2010 census and now. We will see. But are 24% of the Texas legislature, at least the ones in the past. Anglo Americans are 42% of the population, or were in the 2010 census, but are 64% of the population. Overwhelmingly, there are a lot more males in the Texas legislature. We're about half and half. There's slightly more females in the state of Texas than males, but females are about 20%, or have been, of the Texas legislature. And we could have a very robust discussion about why that is. I always, for years, have taken myself as an example. I would love to serve in the Texas legislature. That there would be nothing that I would enjoy more, but I have to work. Up until a year ago, I had a kid that I had to take care of, and he was very active, played baseball, so I was always at his baseball games. and I made breakfast for him for what that was worth, because I'm not a very good cook, but even if it was Pop-Tarts, I made them. Um, and I went to all of his school events, and if he was playing drums, then I was there. And there was just no way that I could be away for 140 days. And gender roles indicate, and boy, are we not seeing it now in the middle of a global pandemic when childcare is iffy, and schools are iffy. Some of them are day on, day off. Some of them are completely remote. Um, and even if your child is able to go all day, on a dime, you could get a message from the school saying that we've had an outbreak and you're going to have to bring your child home. And for the most part, that responsibility falls on females. So that might account for why the percentage of females is so low. Hey, we get to talk about districting. So, each of the 150 members of the Texas House is represented from a geographical district. And all that means is that they have split the state of Texas into 150 different locations. The idea being that we want to have representation that represents the entire state. So the way that we do that is we draw these districts, and so some of the people are from Houston, some of the people are from Muleshoe, some of the people are from Texarkana, some of the people are from Brownsville, depending on the district. And each of the districts is represented by one person. So you just have to get your friends and neighbors, the people in your area, to vote for you and send you to be their representative in the House or the Senate. 31 senatorial districts. And so again, they take the state of Texas, they divide it up, they draw maps, and they say you're going to represent this area. You're going to represent this area. So House districts, of course, are substantially smaller than senatorial districts. 150 is 5 times more than 30.